Hey everybody, happy Friday! We'll get started with the reactions in just a few seconds. So if you're watching this right now and you can hear me, put a yes in the chat. If you can hear me, put a yes in the chat. Thank you. Alright. Hey everybody, it's the B. How y'all doing? I hope your week has been good so far. First off, I want to say Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Oh my god, I have been waiting for this. But still, every month this should be Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Hopefully you guys will be able to take the time to take care of your mental health. I most certainly will as well. And yeah, just remember to breathe. As much as possible, all of that. Seeking therapy if needed, all of that stuff. So yeah. But I hope you guys have been having a good week nonetheless. Let me know in the chat how it's been going. Yeah, we have quite a bit of reactions today. Some of them that came in at the last minute. So thank you to those YouTubers that we're gonna react to for sending in those videos for us to react and discuss to, right? It's always great when that happens. So let's go ahead and get started. But first, as always, I have a little announcement. See if I can find it. Alright, so here's the announcement. Do you want to see exclusive reactions that you'll never ever see on YouTube because of their copyright system, and they just keep labeling this kind of content as the TV shows, movies, and music videos, etc. as copyrighted content, thus getting a copyright strike on YouTube. So do you want to see that exclusive, those kinds of exclusive reactions? Maybe like this one, for instance. And I promise there will be more on the way. I'm still working on it, okay? Just be patient with me. Thank you. Well, then make sure to become a member of my Patreon today for as little as $5 a month, or you can go up to $10 or $15 a month, depending on depending on what you feel best fits you. The details for all the memberships will be on the Patreon. And if you decide to support me, thank you so much for doing so. It really helps a lot in not only creating more reactions for you guys, but also helping out the channel kind of in other ways as well, I guess. So yeah. So if you're interested in becoming a patron, the link will be in the description box down below, or you can just type in your web address, patreon.com/theBreacts857. That's patreon.com/theBreacts857. Alright, hope you enjoyed that little announcement. And I hope you plan on joining. Alright. So, let's stop this music and get into the reactions of today. Hey, oh my goodness, my alarm is going off. Give me a second. There we go. Alright, so let's see what we have for today. Let me bring up... Oh yeah, actually, let me bring up the what we're reacting to first. Give me one second. Let me move this a little bit more. Alright, so I can see it properly. There we go. Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Alright. Okay, so I'll bring this up, and then I am going to put it here, and then go to here. Awesome. Nice. Alright. So, alright, so here's what we're reacting to today and discussing, of course. We have a YouTuber named Shortcake, but she goes by Sugar as well. I think we may have reacted to her, I'm not sure, on this channel, but yeah, that's who this person is. We have the Amazing. We have not reacted to the Amazing. Or no, wait, we have. Never mind. We have the Amazing, Jaden Animations, and then we're gonna end it off with another Shortcake video. So let's start off with this Shortcake video, aka Sugar. And this one is titled "They Changed the Ending." What ending is she exactly talking about here? What is it, of a series? What, a certain series that I'm not sure about? What's going on? Let's find out, shall we? So make sure to like up the stream, as always, to show to give it lots of support. Make sure to hit that beautiful subscribe button and hit that notification bell and all that, so that you're notified of everything on my YouTube channel, my videos, my shorts, these live streams that you're watching right now, and my posts as well. So make sure to do that. And then on Twitch, make sure to follow me, because once we reach 50 followers, we'll have a Twitch only stream where we'll do something on there. What is that? Well, that is a surprise, so shh. Alright, and let's get into this reaction in 3, 2, 1, let go.
Okay, so much is going on today. Like last night, there was an earthquake. Today,
Okay.
people are dealing with allegations of some serious stuff. And
What?
also,
Okay.
My Hero Academia got like a new
Is that
chapter.
something on the news? Right?
I can't keep up. There's way too much to talk about. But yeah, as someone that has followed the show for like 10 years, that's a long time to be invested in
Wow.
something. And I can't really recommend My Hero Academia to anyone because I don't find it to be that good of a narrative. But it was fun while it lasted. And the last chapter, 431, has to be like the worst way to end a story. And I'm sure
Really?
if you're not a fan of My Hero, you've seen like memes where, Deku works at McDonald's. But that's really how the ending felt. Like you have this story of a kid, he wants to be a hero, and it ends where he's just a teacher and he gives up on his dreams and everyone ghosts him for 8
Really?
years and
Really?
he's
Oh
just
my
kind
God,
of there.
That's crazy.
And then he gets a super suit and he still doesn't really seem like he wants to do anything, and then he just randomly gets with Ochako, and Ochako the whole time is just thinking about a girl, that's dead. The ending, I can't with the ending. I can't with the war. I never liked the villains. So,
Yeah.
I have like a weird
I
hate
get that.
love relationship with that show because I started watching it when I was a teenager. So it's
wow.
kind of hard to let go of something like that. But yeah, I never expected them to give like an extra chapter. And I think it's so funny because I think they knew how much people disliked the ending. So they're like, we need to add something else so the fans won't be as upset. There's something I really hate. Like, it's fiction. It's supposed to be fun. There's supposed to be a setup and there's supposed to be a payoff. So when you have a story about a kid that wants to be a hero and then he just ends up being a teacher and then he's like, hey, I'm lonely and my friends don't talk to me.
What?
That's not a happy ending. That's not 10 years of waiting for it to end just for that. Like, I would have rather not knew the story existed in the first place. So they added this new chapter.
But yet it did. So.
And basically it confirms that now Deku and Bakugo are, chasing each other, being heroes, like we wanted in the first place. That was the whole point of the story. Like the original ending was so frustrating because Deku spends like the whole show being like, Bakugo, be my friend, like let's be heroes. And then at the end he's like, nah, I just want to be like a teacher and just sit at my desk pushing my pencils. Like, bro, no. And then Bakugo, he wants to be the #1 hero. But then at the end of the story, he ends up as number 15. Like, get out of here. Get out. There ain't no way in that universe he ends up number 15. Get out. I have a lot of issues when it comes to that series. Like, I think it could have been really great if it was just, teens learning to be heroes. And then they have their little monster of the week kind of thing. I think the show would have been so much better because honestly, when it turned into like a war arc thing, I like clocked out. I never liked the villains. I hated Shigaraki. I thought he was just a freaking man-child baby, honestly. And Toga, she was a little better, but honestly, she was never that interesting either. Most of the story, the villains just are there. They're just sitting in the background, like they're
the one with the buns.
Porcelain dolls, honestly. And it takes so long in the story for them to do anything. So by the time that happens, I'm just completely checked out. And I know, like, many people like the villains, but me personally, I couldn't get invested in them because they just sat around waiting for the war arc. Honestly,
oh my God,
what are they doing? And the powers that the story gives Shigaraki is ridiculous. Like, he has like 1 billion quirks and stuff, and that's just so boring. It's annoying because this is like the kind of show where sometimes it's like written really well, and then other times you want to like slam your head into the desk, and I'm sure that's probably because of like time restraints and whatnot. And in the anime, they don't even really attempt to animate it that well. That also really declines the quality. Like the first few seasons were like pretty decent, pretty good. They had like amazing moments, and then as the show goes on, I think they gave like the animators way less time to do anything. A lot of the animation was going towards the movies.
And that's exactly the problem with every single anime.
The story is just not sold with what the animation gives you. The story also has a lot of problems with quote-unquote background characters. When you give every character like a great beginning, they're not a background character. So it's very frustrating as a viewer to watch a show where you're like, oh, I'm gonna get to learn about this character and this character, and then they're like, nah, psych, we ain't doing that. It's just like, God. It's like bait to get you to like buy merch of the characters you like. So honestly, brilliant strategy.
Is that not true? Hello.
That, would I recommend watching this to anyone? No, I would never recommend watching this show. Because 99% of the time, you're never going to get a satisfying conclusion to any of the characters that you like. Even with Deku. But I guess with this recent chapter, it's something. But yeah, I think the show would have been way better and a lot more fun if it just, it already has all these fun, interesting characters. Like, come on, you're going to look at Tokoyami and say that's not a fun, interesting character? What does he do in the show? Nothing. Oh, it's so frustrating to see like all these wasted character designs, and they don't really get utilized properly. And you want me to sit there and say, oh yeah, these are all Deku's friends, when he barely interacts with any of them. Like, this story's so frustrating because it could be so good, but it's like almost, maybe it's just too ambitious. When you're trying too much, you have too many characters. Like, I'm currently writing my own story right now, and even then, I've had to delete some characters that I thought I would need, because a lot of times, you don't need that many, and it could be a little too bloated.
Right, it's like kind of overwhelming.
Good for selling merch, I guess, but
to the audience,
bad for story quality
sometimes.
At the end of the day. I think it's funny because someone said the exact thing that I was thinking, where anytime they would see Shigaraki, they would think, okay, he's here, but like, when's the actual villain gonna show up? And that's exactly my experience watching the show. Like, Shigaraki didn't have like that good of a reason to be a villain, and All For One, oh god, I just want to slap that guy. He's not that interesting of a villain because he's like, I just want to be a villain because... And we never really see the villains do anything that bad. And then, like, you'll have Shigaraki, like, destroy a whole city, like, kill a bunch of people. And then Deku's like, no, we gotta save him, guys. Ooh. God, this story is so frustrating. Yeah. But, yeah. Sorry about the rant. I just have so much wound up emotions about something, and it's totally this is kind of why I don't want to get invested in any shows, going forward, because, you spend 10 years following a show and then it doesn't turn out. I kind of would rather my friend tell me, hey, I saw this show and it has a great ending, and I'd be like, cool, I'll watch that, because at this point, shows like this have really soured me on following anything. I don't know if I'm alone on that, but that's how I feel. But yeah, so the new chapter kind of fixed some of those problems, which thank goodness, because now when I think of the ending, I don't have to think of that terrible chapter 431. So bad. Like, they didn't even set up Deku and Ochako's romance properly. It's like anytime she was in the show was for like 5 seconds. So that was also very frustrating. And then at the end, they just like dap each other up. They don't even like kiss or hug or anything. So what was the point? And even in the newest chapter, they don't even focus on that, which is perfect, because that romance was never a part of the show. Like, let's be real. Once again, I think shows where it's just like a bunch of, a group of friends, doing some task. I think you just got to keep that. That's fun. That's fun. I don't know. Once again, I don't know if I'm alone on that. But yeah, those were my thoughts. And it's very interesting to see how they kind of, made the ending a little bit better. Thank goodness.
All right. All right.
Congrats on hitting 1 million subscribers. What are you gonna do next? I'm gonna quit YouTube and be a doctor. Give it back. I've been both a certified doctor.
No, not yet.
Congrats on hitting 1 million subscribers. What are you gonna do next? I'm gonna.
Oh my god, stop it. Hello? I think that might mean hello, but hello, Rian, Sanjaya? Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming onto the stream. Hey, I appreciate it. Oh, that's an I. Ruian Sanjaya. Sorry. Hey, hello. Sorry for the mispronunciation. Okay, anyways. So yeah, that must sound so brutal. Oh, because I can totally relate to that. Having to go through a show that kind of felt like My Hero Academia, but not really. And guess what that show was? Miraculous Ladybug. Yeah, I've been a long-time viewer of that show, and like the first 3 seasons were good. And like nothing bad happened in it. It actually made me want to watch the show and explore all the lore and all of that. But then season 4 just tanked the show so bad. It's like anybody that's watched season 4 of Miraculous Ladybug would understand. It just some things were not even necessary. Season 5 tried to bring it back up, but still, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Now they're on season 6. And yet I'm still watching the show for some reason. And so, Adrian and Marinette got together. And now they're in a relationship and doing all that, which is, and also having like a new animation of sorts for season 6, which is crazy. It's like, I just want to like drop off from the series, but then again, I don't want to, because maybe something interesting might pop up and I'll be like, oh my god, what is that? So yeah, that's a big issue for me. Anyways, what else? But yeah, that's a very weird way to end it at first, but thankfully they changed the ending, and I hope that everything is all right now for My Hero Academia. If it's not, oh well. And besides, anime these days, in my opinion, I don't really like watching them. Right? It's like, oh, the typical adventure, or like yaoi, yaoi, or other kinds of not yaoi, sorry, or other kinds of anime where they all just basically have the same story over and over again. It like at first and during the early days of anime it felt fine, but afterwards, but now it just feels like it's just the same thing just repeating itself. This is why I liked Oshinoko. I recommend you watch the first season, okay? It is not like any other anime I've seen before, or you have seen before. It's like so down to earth and like talking about real things, and I just love it. If you haven't watched it, please give it a watch when you have time. All right, the first season is really good. The second season, I'm still, I just kind of dropped off halfway through, but I might come back and watch the rest of the episodes. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you're watching this right now. What show do you struggle to watch? Like, you don't want to drop off from it because you're worried that a good moment might happen. It's like, oh my god, why why didn't I watch this, right? Like, that sort of feeling. Let me know in the chat if that's the case. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. All right. Alright, so next up we have the Amazing, and aka Maz, and this one is titled "I Regret Leaving YouTube to be a Doctor." Oh gosh, man, I know that feeling all too well. Not in the case of a doctor, I'm with my working with other responsibilities as well. I can totally relate to this, just off from the title. But let's see what happened. Because I've heard that he went on a kind of a hiatus for some reason from YouTube. And it was like, where's Maz? Where is he? Right? Like, I was so worried. Right? I really missed watching his content, and yeah, like a couple months ago, right? He came back, which is great. Hey, so let's see what happened. So make sure to like up the stream as always, to give it lots of support. Make sure to hit that beautiful subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that you can be notified of everything on my channel, my videos, my shorts, this live streams like this, and my posts. And on Twitch, make sure to follow me and help me reach 50 followers, because once we reach that goal, we'll be having a Twitch only stream. What is that? What's that about? No, it's a surprise. So shh. And let's get into this reaction in 3, 2, 1, let go. Why is that? No, please no.
Congrats on hitting 1 million subscribers. What are you gonna do next? I'm gonna quit YouTube and be a doctor. Give it back. I've been both a certified doctor by day and an uncertified YouTuber by night for nearly a decade. But at the peak of it all, I decided to quit YouTube. But why? Hi, my name is Maz. I'm talking about my regrets juggling these 2 massive jobs, why I left YouTube, and why I'm coming back. In early
That's
2020,
right,
I
let's
released a
go.
video where I announced that I would take a year off from medicine to really focus on YouTube full time. Because instead of having regrets about putting only half of my focus on YouTube, this was my chance to give 110% to the almighty algorithm. I wanted to make more videos, build up a new team, tour around the world, go to VidCon, visit new friends, and then 2020 happened. Nothing else of note occurred during this year. Okay, fine. Among Us came out. So at the end of this video, I made a public call out for people to join Team Amazing. Now, I'm sure it's no surprise, but building a team is hard work. I never thought that my hobby of drawing cartoons would result in leading people to also work on my silly ideas. It's not really a skill they teach you in doctor school, but also I was too busy drawing S's. And not letting thoughts of committing arson take over.
Arson is a criminal offense.
Although it was hard, I knew it was necessary to get some help in order to survive on this platform as an animator. My 1 year off was like a timer above my head, and when it went off, I would die. I mean, return to being a full-time doctor. Actually, yeah, wait, those are the same thing.
Dr. Mars, this patient needs urgent surgery.
Yeah, can you come back in like a year? Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. Now, thankfully, after sitting through thousands of amazing applications, I managed to slowly but surely build up Team Amazing. I found this to be one of the most rewarding experiences yet. Being able to work closely with immensely skilled artists in order to bring my videos to life. And honestly, I couldn't have made my videos without them. Cinema. And as the months ticked away, it only got easier and easier to craft my videos with my new super kick-ass team. We worked hard to upload consistently, which made me believe it'd be possible to juggle being a real doctor, a real YouTuber,
And a real boy.
but the end of my year off was looming, and I got real nervous about how much my medical knowledge and skills had depreciated from the time away from the hospital. I was so locked in for YouTube that I had completely neglected my medical half, and all I could do was pray that my YouTube knowledge would somehow come in clutch. Yo, what's up, Martians, and welcome back to my new unboxing video.
my
for Other
God.
Kidney, Other Kidney! But surprisingly, I found that the experience of building and managing a team for YouTube was actually super helpful for my medical life. Even as a junior doctor, my senior staff members would be surprised at my ability to just get things done. I mean, when you're crunching 2 full-time jobs at the same time for years, I guess your efficiency would go up. And due to my experience, I was also praised for my impeccable communication skills. Mars, you can't keep asking patients to subscribe. Oh, sorry. What about liking my videos? Well, yeah, obviously they should do that. The months that I had spent building up Team Amazing paid off big, and I was able to be a doctor and YouTuber at the same time for years to come. I'll admit that it was tough at first, adjusting after doing only YouTube for a year, but I made it work because I had 2 wolves inside me.
What?
I'm not a furry. Despite all of my successes, slowly but surely other responsibilities started to creep in, and the very precarious balance that I had worked so hard for started to tip over. Naturally, I wasn't going to remain a junior doctor forever, so as I got more and more experience, my workload increased. That only got exponentially worse after I joined a training program to become a senior specialist doctor, with a major obstacle for this training program being a pair of incredibly difficult, high failure rate exams. And this, man and gentle ladies, is when things went from difficult but tolerable to downright impossible.
Oh my god.
I should have committed arson.
Arson is a criminal offense.
These were not exams where you can just snooze on through until the very last day. No, I'm talking about a cumulative 50% pass rate to get through both exams in one go, even with adequate preparation. And if you
heard from
do
my
fail,
mom
you
in
can
Mel's
only retake the
medical
exams
school
next year. Oh, and you only have 3 tries. Now, this is some high-stakes coin flipping if I've ever seen
Exactly
one.
what I heard from my mom.
I'm safe.
because she
Mind
had
you,
to
the
take
main
these
way that I've
exams.
been able to juggle things so far is by working or going to medical school in the morning and then immediately switching gears to YouTube by night. I had almost no time to socialize, play games, meet new people. So the idea of now fitting in hours and hours of studying for exams on top of what I was already doing was absolutely impossible. No, please, senor, stay back! Wait, did that actually work? As if the workload itself wasn't hard enough to deal with, things started to get more complicated when people at work found out about my YouTube channel. Hey, which one of you snitched? I mean, it was bound to come out eventually, but I guess I didn't expect the way that other doctors and staff members would react. Some were nice about it and made for a decent icebreaker, which was cool, but a majority were just super awkward, like, wow, cool. That seat's taken. There were also a fair bit of just outright rude comments. I was at a wedding for one of my friends, and as I was sitting there trying to make small talk to people that I had never met before, I got outed as a YouTuber by my friend sitting next to me. And that resulted in one of them just straight up saying,
Oh wait, are you the one who makes the weird cartoons online?
on the outside I said, oh yeah, that's me. But on the inside I was like, what the f else do you want me to say? Yep,
Right.
I'm the weirdo, total lunatic over here. Ooh, just you wait. I am so gonna make a video about you. I'm making light of these comments, but they really were super condescending about something that I worked on as a passion project. Like, I'm not even asking for people to understand, but just like be normal people about it. And look, in retrospect, I'm sure these were throwaway comments from them, but it definitely made me feel ashamed about the fact that I was making content, about videos that I was so happy with. I am happy making animations, aren't I?
Oh
Well,
my
let's talk about
God.
that. But before that, I'd like to take a moment to have a chat about this new browser that I've been trying. Why was that in my pelvis? Welcome to the future.
What? Oh wait, this is a sponsor. Okay. Alright. Oh my god. What the heck? Why is it not? Okay.
In the description or pinned comment below. Thank you, Opera, for sponsoring this video. But let's get back to why I fell out of love with YouTube. With the monstrous amount of work I was doing between YouTube, medicine, and my exam prep, I found myself struggling to just hold on. I
Right,
had
that's
received
what it
from DMs
feels
between
like.
friends, and I was genuinely throwing around terms like survival, as if my life was on the line trying to juggle everything. And as a result, instead of focusing on what I actually wanted to make, I started writing scripts where I wasn't all that passionate about it. And instead of focusing on what I wanted to make, I started to overthink about what other people would want.
I would like you to continue surgery. Please.
In addition to that, the mounting workload was seriously placing pressures on myself and my team. Unlike what people may have thought, I was still heavily involved with the creative process, even with my super amazing, incredibly talented team. But because of everything that was going on, you know, trying to be a certified doctor, I was often delayed in getting projects started. People would then have to wait around for more work because of me. Videos were then taking longer to get completed, and the entire production slowed down. Not to mention my contractual obligations to meet specific quotas for sponsors, which resulted in work crunches to hit deadlines, impacting on all of our mental and sometimes physical health. Wait a second. Being your own boss and making videos for yourself is great, but having so many incredibly fantastic, gorgeous people depend on you financially for their livelihood, that responsibility added a surreal amount of expectation, and I felt like I was constantly failing them at all times, while scrambling to get my own life in order. So I just sat there, pondering why I was even doing it all in the first place. Is this, the repetitive, never-ending cycle of these huge workloads, truly what I wanted to do? By this point, I had given up a majority of my
just, like, at this
childhood and
point
early
questioning
20s in order to
yourself, I
grind
get
out this
that.
YouTube thing. I was able to succeed on a passion project that so many people dream of doing. And despite knowing that, I wasn't even sure if I could confidently say that I was happy. There was no way around it. I knew that I was definitely burnt out from everything. This only got worsened by the tonal whiplash that would happen from work. Dealing with the YouTube pressure was bad enough, but the pressures of working in a hospital with extremely unwell patients can be so emotionally and cognitively taxing. You never quite knew what would happen. One minute I'm making a new terminal diagnosis, then beep beep beep, there's an emergency call on the wards where I'm desperately trying to keep them alive, each crucial second ticking away, sometimes ending in a bad outcome. By the virtue of working in a hospital, death and illness became an everyday part of my life. Only for me to then go home, draw silly pictures, and pour mayonnaise on myself? Huh?
Oh my
What? What is going on? Is this disrespectful? It's gotta be disrespectful, right? This emotional disconnect started to grow. It impacted on my ability to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do, and exactly how I fit in with these jobs. I struggled a lot with a sense of never belonging with my race, being both
Hey,
not
hey,
Western
hey.
or not brown
Fellow
enough.
Pakistani
How
here.
twisted is it that later
Never
in my
feel that
life,
way.
I would also feel like I don't belong cleanly with my job either. Neither true YouTuber nor doctor. And with
Never
all
feel
of these
that
thoughts swirling in my head, the pressure mounting, workload building, and the burnout continuing to take a toll on myself, I stopped making videos.
Oh my
Mafia
god.
3 was meant to be the final video for the Amazing, a wrap-up of my trilogy, a big spectacle of a video as a send-off. I remember it being so gut-wrenching too, because I love my fans, and I felt this immense sense of guilt about leaving. I did want to make an update video or at least a formal goodbye to explain everything, but it was all getting so taxing on me as a person that the idea of even going back for one more video made me genuinely so nauseous and anxiety stricken that I just couldn't do it. So I disappeared online. I still continued to talk to my friends, visited my mates in America, and was active over on the Voice Chat podcast. Basically just living my life without the amazing. Heartwarmingly, some of you wondered what happened to me, sending me DMs, asking on live streams. There were even Reddit posts asking where I was. I never ever expect this sort of love or care from anyone, so this was just the most endearing thing ever. Thank you.
Of course.
I also got to feel mysterious, like, ooh, where's Mars? You'll never
goodness.
know. Wait, can I see that thread? There was this one distinct moment in a random bookstore that I went to, where they had this panel to try out new gel pens. I picked one up and I didn't really know what to draw. So my mind instinctively went to something that I had been drawing for years and years at that time. My character. And what was done as an innocent gesture to try out a new pen quickly turned to a deep sense of sadness. It had been months after my decision to stop making videos, and I guess I was still keeping that hope alive, that maybe one day I can get back into the swing of things. But by drawing this one little picture at a random bookstore, I realized that this may be the last time I ever draw my character again. A channel that I had spent years working on, The Amazing, was finally done. Looks like my summer vacation
But it's not.
is over. Or was it? Look, you're watching this video, so you know I've come back. Stepping back from YouTube was so necessary, not just for my mental health, but also to free up time in order to prepare for the major obstacles in becoming a big boy doctor. The exams. Chance of success? Low. The risk of failure? High. My transformation into a basement dweller? Guaranteed. Oh, hey, Didas. I genuinely cannot express to you how much of a blur this period of my life was. It was like clockwork, going in for the day to sharpen my clinical skills, and going home to study all night, and then rinse and repeat for almost 2 years. I couldn't even access my textbooks online anymore because they thought I was a robot. With all that being said and done, it must have been worth it because I passed the exam! Let's go! Genuinely one of the most grueling hurdles I've ever had to get through, and it's now over. I'm a real doctor now. And a real boy.
Okay, can we get on with the surgery now? Wait, is that my kidney?
The craziest part about me grinding away for this exam is how it impacted my creative side. Having time away from the demands of YouTube was enough for me to A, recover from my burnout, and B, meditate on why I was doing it all in the first place. I didn't start this to be famous or to make money, and it sure as wasn't to mindlessly churn out content that I didn't care about anymore. I started to make content to tell stories out of my own creative, burning desire and nothing else. So what happens when you lock somebody at their creative wit's end in a hospital for 2 years? As the doctor, not the patient. Well, for me, the need to create just grew and grew,
that was a bit
biding time
concerning.
until I could let them out. And hey,
love
if I'm going to
BS.
release my creative side again, why not give YouTube another go?
Yeah.
All right! Arson is a criminal off. Wait, Mars is back? Let's go, dude! Okay, but what about the lack of time, Mars? Well, that's still the case with my work and another reason that I'll talk about in a future video. But with the massive gatekeeping exams out of the way, that's basically freed up a majority of my time to allow me to get back to 2 full-time jobs, just like how I used to. Look at this funny comment I got.
I'm losing blood. But also, that's hilarious.
But Mars, wouldn't the pressure of the team impact you? What's so funny is that the story parallels and reverses. Now this time, because of me stepping up as a senior doctor, I've got more experience than ever in managing a large, always moving team, which all transferred over to the YouTube side of things. I love them so much. I'm so incredibly lucky to have this online career, and I want to continue to look at it as a passion project, just like how I started. I've even started to indulge in my own creativity. Like for example, you may have noticed each video has its own unique planet and aesthetic planned out by my team and I. Or maybe you haven't noticed, which makes me sad because we worked hard on those. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because that's what makes me Mars. Amazing. Man, it really has been a while, hasn't it? And to be able to craft these passion projects, with my views reasonably dropping off over my hiatus, I've been relying more and more on sponsors, patrons, and channel members. I am not kidding when I say that I could not be making these videos without them. Maybe this is my imposter syndrome talking, but it is still surreal to me when people watch my videos, and especially when they choose to support me and Team Amazing financially. Thank you. Genuinely thank you. I cannot believe that. I wish my doctor's salary was enough to run it by myself, but unfortunately it is not. You will not believe how much these videos cost. It's like an arm and a leg out here.
Don't look at me.
And now that I've tasted retirement, I can say for certain that I won't be doing YouTube forever. Because retirement was awesome. I only worked one full-time job. But hey, at least until the 10-year milestone, maybe I've got a few more in me. And I hope that you'll be there too. So yeah, that's been my journey over the last 4 years. I know what I'm talking about is super specific to my circumstances, but I hope you found it helpful, somewhat relatable, or at least entertaining.
Absolutely.
I really do appreciate you all for watching my videos, and I hope that you stick around for future videos too. Thank you again, and stay amazing.
Of course. Wow. Wow, that was so great. Oh, no. The next way is... Nope.
When I say I was
no,
almost
no,
in
no.
Squid Game.
Alright. Wow, that was so great. Man, I love how Moz is, Moz and like other YouTubers out there are being like, yeah, YouTube is a, or like telling people out there, yeah, YouTube is a great job, but it comes with risk. Risk of, one of them being the risk of burnout, which totally happens. And that that is really the most frustrating thing to experience. It's like you've been working so hard, you're trying to meet so many deadlines. And, well, I'm not at that stage right now, but I'm getting there. I mean, not with, like, sponsorships and all that, not yet. But with videos, and, yeah, I totally get at that. I remember being so busy with college, I still wanted to post at least, once, like a couple times every year for you guys, so that way you guys would understand that this channel is not dead. But yeah, and obviously if I ever have to step away from it and be like, I have to work on this stuff and not the YouTube stuff, I'll obviously let you guys know. Or maybe it'll be like Moss. Maybe I might just be like, bye, see you in like a few months, and that kind of thing. That might happen, but for right now, I don't kind of feel that way. It's not too chaotic right now, but eventually, if it does become too chaotic, then it might be time to, yeah, step away from the from YouTube for a little bit. So, and please understand that this happens to every single YouTuber, right? No need to criticize anybody for taking care of their mental health. Hence, this is why this is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? It's important to take care of your mental health, or not just your mental health, your physical and emotional, all the forms of health, so that, like, you can get back to, so, like, we can all get back to doing this, like, us content creators. So, yeah. Yeah. And that's also no wonder why my mom has been asking me, hey, have you gotten a job yet? Like, the job market, have you seen it out there? Is crazy. It is crazy. I'm still applying for jobs every single day, but like it takes like so long to get a response back, and they obviously most of the time end up with saying, sorry, we can't really, we moved on with somebody else. Like, okay, whatever. I'll just keep applying that in an endless cycle. Yeah, I know that's not healthy, but anyways, let me know in the chat if you've ever experienced something like this. Just know that you are not alone. Many people have experienced burnout and other things, terrible things. So don't feel like you have to, like you're alone in this. Okay, never ever feel like that. So, because otherwise that would be bad for your health. See what I did there? Yeah. But seriously though. So yeah, let me know if you've ever experienced something like that in the chat if you're watching this right now, or put it in the comments section if you're watching this afterwards. So yeah. Other than that, okay, so there's nobody in the chat right now. Let's move on to the next reaction here. Okay, so next up, we have Jaden Animations. And this video is titled, I was almost in Squid Game. Wait, what do you mean almost? What happened? Man, did they not accept you into the game? Did something else happen? What is going on? Let's find out. So make sure to like up this. Make sure to like up the stream as always to give it lots of support. Make sure to subscribe and all that to support my YouTube channel. And on Twitch, make sure to follow me and help us get to 50 followers, so that we'll have our Twitch only stream. And that is the surprise. So shh. And let's get into this reaction in 3, 2, 1, Lego.
When I say I was almost in Squid Game, I specifically mean Netflix's reality show version, not like the actual one where people died. Sorry for a bit of a bait there, but also I'm not lying. So before I get into that whole story, I need to explain how I was even put in that situation to begin with. Early last year, Jacob, our friend Joe, my brother Jax, and I all went to this little Squid Game pop-up event hosted by Netflix. It looked interesting, to say the least. A combination of curiosity and boredom are what convinced us to buy tickets. Our Uber took us to the location provided, and we were dropped off at a scary back alley in the streets of LA.
Oh my god.
Are you sure this isn't a setup for, you know, the real thing? We hunted down the entrance, headed up Squid Game-themed stairs, and inside was a big lobby with merch, snacks, decorations. You know what else was in there?
Oh, they got the
No other human beings. We were the only ones there, along with the shape guys that were just staring at us.
Oh my god.
Are you sure this isn't? I don't know anymore. Staff signed us in and gave us
my
numbered wristbands. What? It's like Squid Game. Eventually, more
Yes.
contestants showed up, and soon enough, we were herded into the starting room, decorated very much like no one actually cared about this thing.
Oh,
and if they
wow.
did, corporate ruined it. The staff guy gave us the rundown on
Corporate
how the event was gonna work, all the rules, such and such. But sprinkled throughout the explanation were like a lot of safety hazard jokes. I know the concept of the whole thing is rooted in playing dangerous games and dying and ooh, evil dystopian.
Yeah.
But he was saying things like, don't lean on the walls. You might rip through it, and I don't want to fill out any paperwork if you hurt yourself. Don't
get
touch
that.
anything that
I
you
get
shouldn't touch. I don't want to have to fill out paperwork again. He
Oh
was
my
very anti-paperwork, like way
No,
more
but
than
I
the
get
actual
that.
human
He's-
safety part. Based on what we've seen so far, our group knew we were about to experience exactly what we were hoping for, but with not the death part. For the first game, we
Yeah.
were led into a room with lines of glass squares. What? It's like Squid Game again!
Oh,
The glass
wow.
jumping part! When it was your turn, the pattern on the 10 squares would be shown, and you needed to memorize which tiles to step on. It's like, well, I guess it's kind of like Squid Game. Kinda. The first batch of people stepped up, the patterns all flashed, but before anyone could begin stepping on glass, they were instructed to hold it and only
Oh.
take one step at
Oh.
a time. For the whole game, we had to watch everyone take one individual step, stop, wait to be confirmed, then take one more step for 10 spaces in like
Oh.
6 groups total. Also, I think that whatever mechanism they used to track if people were out or not was super busted because literally only like 5 people in total got their pattern right. Joe, Jacob, and Jax all swore they memorized their pattern correctly, but were eliminated anyway. I know I botched mine up though. I've got paper shredder brain. They could give me one tile to memorize and I would still forget it. 25 of the 30 people failed their very first puzzle. Now, Netflix knew that if people paid $40, yeah, 40, to be in this shitty little Squid Game event and then had to go home after the first
Oh.
game, they would be pretty upset. So the rule was for the first 4 challenges, no one would be eliminated. Yay, woohoo, phew, that was a close one. In the next room, they tried to combine both the honeycomb game and the marbles game from the show, but what was put together was throw marbles in the shape on the table to win other people's marbles. It was very anticlimactic. Unfortunately, we were only able to gather in groups of 3, so Joe wasn't able to join us. Instead, he was paired up as a third wheel to a random couple that was obviously here on a date. Jax cleaned up shop on us. He got all our marbles within
That's an
minutes. But
interesting
over
way
at
to have
Joe's
a
table,
date.
malicious injustice was afoot. Apparently, the 2 people that were in a romantic
Oh my
relationship
God.
ganged up on Joe, and after taking all his marbles, just split them up between each other. Despite there being no actual stakes in the game, Joe was furious simply out of principle and swore to get
Oh
revenge
my
on them
God.
somewhere. Somehow. Before he could even start any beef, we were brought into the next room, and again, we're split into groups, this time of 4. They really liked group activities in this thing. Walking through the doors to the challenge, everyone was stationed around a respective gift coffin. After opening them up, it was revealed we were going to be playing a big version of Operation, the game where you try to pick up fake little organs with fake medical tools without touching the sides. So, simulated surgery. Like, I guess that was kinda in Squid Game. At least they decorated the boxes like it, but I mean, we're really pushing it at this point. Jacob and I randomly got paired up with this married couple, and the 4 of us started inspecting the tools when suddenly the woman goes, "Oh, will you pass me the forceps?"
Why?
She's a surgeon.
Oh.
Oh my god. We just happened to be paired up with a lady whose literal job was operation. The challenge
Wow.
began and the 3 of us took our hands off the tools. She cracked her knuckles and we
Okay.
watched as all the plastic organs were suddenly
okay.
out of the prop
Wow.
body. Not surprisingly, our team was the first to finish. When we got back together with Joe and Jax,
That's
we
good.
explained how we got super lucky to be paired up with an actual surgeon that literally soloed the whole thing. And Joe was like, "Wait, that guy was a surgeon?" And Jacob and I had to shake our heads and say, "No, Joe, she was a surgeon."
Oh.
Damn it. Now that we were entering the 4th challenge, it was time to get serious. This was the first game where people would start getting eliminated for realsies. But not realsies. Everyone was split into 2 groups and taken to one side of a wall where there was a bunch of prop boats. It was a kind of not really IRL version of Battleship where we had to try and shoot down all the other side's boats, and the team that won would progress into the 5th game. I would describe this idea as good enough. Sure, you know, we didn't get to choose where to put our boats since they were bolted to the floor, but I guess we did only pay $40 to be here. For some reason, though, the staff member on our side was, we can call it
California
extremely
prices, am I
helpful.
right?
At first, he was saying general tips, like, so if they still have a 4-tile boat, let's check all the areas that could fit that. You know, saying vague hints to help us out a bit. But by the end of it, he was just straight up telling us, if I were you guys, I would shoot right here. Like, this guy wanted us to win, and win fast. So either he had some kind of bet going on with the other staff members, or dude just had places to be. All the other team's boats were sunk, and the remaining 15 or so people were led into the semi-final game. It was obvious as soon as we saw her, we were finally playing the classic red light, green light. It was decorated like the show, the doll was there, but there were giant gift boxes scattered around the room to act as obstacles, because when you think about it, red light, green light isn't high stakes when staff can't actually shoot the contestants. Like, something had to be added to spice it up a bit. We gathered on the starting line, and the game started. As we were playing, I was thinking, how are they measuring if we're moving or not? You know, I doubt they recreated the entire motion tracking doll thing just for this pop-up that's getting torn down after a month. I figured the only thing they could be using to track motion is our wristband, so in between the green lights, I focused extra hard on making sure my wrist stayed as still as possible. In fact, I was focusing so hard on my wrist that I didn't even realize I was the first one to pass the finish line. Unfortunately, similarly to the janky glass memory game, it seemed like a lot of the wristbands were super wonky as well because a lot of people got pinged as eliminated no matter how still they were, including Jacob and Jax, which was a huge buzzkill. Either that or they were just built to be super sensitive and somehow my weak little carpal tunnel wrists decided to not shake for the first time in 5 years. I turned back to see just 3 people left. One of them being Joe. They all lunged forward, and as red light was called for the final time, I watched as Joe tripped and crashed into them, causing every person left to topple to the floor. Their wristbands deemed them eliminated. As Joe was walking past me to the dead area, I asked what happened, to which he said, "I got him." Joe had intentionally sacrificed himself to bump those people because they were the couple that ganged up on him during marbles.
I mean,
he had finally gotten his revenge. Was it petty? Yes. Did he probably ruin their date? Yes. But do I also not care and think that was the funniest shit ever? Absolutely. Joe is awesome. I was somehow the only one in our group moving on to the final round. Me and the other 4 winners of red light, green light were brought into Squid Game. And everyone else was there too, watching from behind a little rope. Jaden, Squid Game is so rough and tough. How did you fare against the 4 other dudes that made it to the end? In real Squid Game, the guy got stabbed. Did you get stabbed? You're probably wondering. And oh dear viewer, no, I did not get stabbed. In fact, I didn't get hurt at all because Netflix didn't want to deal with paperwork. Instead, we played hold a fake egg on a spoon and attack each other until there's one egg standing, but attack in a way where there's no paperwork, which is fine with me because I doubt any of us actually knew how to play Squid Game anyway. The buzzer rang and everyone started shifting around in the shape. Since I, for some reason, have experience in high-stakes game tournaments, I deployed my signature strategy of don't bring attention to myself. I simply dodged and weaved between the guys swiping at each other's eggs. I can take someone on in a 1v1, but any number higher and I've gone well past my capabilities. Eventually, there were just 3 people left. The crowd started yelling, "Get the girl's still in!" And the 2 guys started walking towards me. But then my personal peanut gallery chimed in with, hey, they're ganging up on the girl! Boo! no shame, boo. And that flustered them enough to back away again. Apparently, the power of teamwork and fear of misogyny can persevere through anything. Suddenly, an egg hit the floor. It was just me and non-woman hating guy number 2. The exact 1v1 I was trying to create. We circled each other, both our spoon-holding arms stretched out as far as they could go. He swung at my egg a couple times and I managed to dodge, but I couldn't win this thing if I didn't go on the offense. Wait, what if I just...
What?
I won the silly little Netflix Squid Game pop-up.
What?
The front
Just
man
for
came
doing
out and
that?
escorted me to the VIP area
That is
where he gave me a
crazy.
plastic animal mask, like in Squid Game. And we took awesome photos together, and I got an awesome t-shirt that said winner. And I didn't know it at the time, but as this was happening, the staff pretended to shoot all the losers with fake gun sounds. Unfortunately, I didn't get the 45.6 billion
Are
money
they
prize
serious
like
right
in the
now?
show. But along with the t-shirt, they did give me a special form to fill out that would give me priority application for Netflix's actual Squid Game reality show, Squid Game: The Challenge,
Oh,
season
okay.
2. I looked at the form and thought, you know,
Oh, right.
we'll
'cause
just
their
see what
first
happens.
yeah,
Filled it out and
their
was able
first
to bring my
season
friends back to the
a while
VIP room
back,
with me
right?
because winning isn't fun unless you do it with your friends. That's what Squid Game taught me. There were a bunch of snacks
my-
and alcoholic beverages in the winter area, and I gotta say, the alcoholic squid drinks were probably the worst things I've ever tasted. It was astonishing how bad they were. Over a year later, and I can still imagine it. I don't even know what ingredient could do that
my
to a
God.
drink. Anyway, after I submitted my form, I half expected to never hear anything about it ever again. But to my surprise, Netflix reached out to interview me about potentially being a contestant on the show. In fact, I was forwarded to the next round of interviews 3 times to completely break any potential rules of confidentiality. I was starting to think there might be a chance I could actually be on the show. But eventually, the interviews came to a stop, and I have come to the conclusion they have moved on to better qualifying people. Most likely because
okay.
I will admit I
okay.
was a bit too honest during the interviews. They basically all just looked like this. What kind of a role do you think you would play in Squid Game as a contestant? I'd probably just be a follower. I don't like taking charge at all. How hard would you fight to win Squid Game? Not that hard. Have you watched the first season of Squid Game: The Challenge? No. Well, I watched the first 20 minutes, but I turned it off because I thought it was really badly paced and boring. So that was that.
Yeah,
and I'm
it
okay with
was.
it. Or who knows?
Yes,
Maybe they
actually.
saw my very strange track record of winning game tournaments and got scared.
Oh
It
my
kind of
God.
seems like those kinds of really intense and active game shows like real life Squid Game end up having a lot of people complaining about how they got hurt or weren't treated all that great anyway. So I'm glad I'm sitting safe and sound in the comfort of my own home. I'm glad I'm not
Alright.
dealing with Squid Game related injuries, in fact. Also, very quick reminder that techwear merch is going away soon. If you're late to watching this video, it's probably already gone, to be honest. Sorry. I tried to warn you. Thanks for watching, though, and see you later.
Bye-bye. Alright.
Alright, so this is a story about how you should be really careful about the kinds of people that you. Alright, so this is a story about how.
Oh my. Alright. Alright, well, good for her making it through the Squid Game challenges. I remember when Squid Game came out in the year of 2021, right? Everybody was so excited to watch it. I did too, and it was pretty interesting, I would say. I would say, yeah, so, But Squid Game the challenge, though, I heard it was pretty terrible. So, so I did not watch the challenge. So, I just watched Squid Game, and only like the first season, and then I don't think I'm gonna watch the rest of the seasons after that. Maybe wait, yeah, the second season just like came out like a couple months ago, so maybe I might watch that. We'll see. Of Squid Game, I mean. But yeah, good for her nonetheless for making it through. But she didn't want to go on there, which is understandable. Because it'll probably be cringe anyways. Not to hate on it. If you like the challenge, that's fine. But yeah, not me though. I would not watch it. So yeah. But anyways, let me know in the chat. Are you a big fan of Squid Game? And if so, what's your favorite part? Like, what's your favorite little game that they have in Squid Game? Mine's like totally the red light, green light. That challenge is. I didn't pay attention. I didn't have any. I didn't care much for the other challenges. The red light, green light one just always sticks out to me for some reason. But yeah, let me know. What's your favorite challenge from Squid Game? So yeah, and we will go ahead and nobody's in the chat. Guys, just to tell you guys, that these reactions are not meant for us to just react to. They're also meant for us to discuss as well too, right? And so let's talk. Let's talk in the chat about about how we or about how you guys maybe relate to something, or maybe something or maybe something that you liked about the video that we watched, or just something really. Just please do that. That's what the chat is for. All right, just chat it up, or basically anything else, right? Of course, still following the rules in the description. Yeah, but yeah, please, if there's something you want to discuss about, let me know. All right. Hey, I'm just saying. All right. Hey, thank you. So anyways, so our last reaction for today is another one from Shortcake, and this one just came in, and this one is titled "They Just Stared at While I Screamed." Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Who stared while you screamed? What is going on? I'm just wondering what is even going on right now. Let's just go ahead and find out. So yeah, make sure to like up the stream as always to give it lots of support. Make sure to hit subscribe and all of that on YouTube to be notified of everything, and that's on my YouTube channel and on Twitch. Make sure to help me get to 50 followers, so that or help us get to 50 followers so that we can do a Twitch only stream. What that is a surprise. So and let's get into this reaction in 3, 2, 1, Lego. Last reaction, everybody.
All right, so this is a story about how you should be really careful about the kinds of people that you surround yourself with. I used to have a friend, and this friend, I don't know how, but they always made friends with, like, the weirdest, most awful people they could find. I guess they were just, like, so desperate for attention that they really didn't care where it came from as long as they got attention. They were constantly in relationships with terrible boyfriends, and it got to a point where I just got sick and tired of telling them to leave their boyfriend, and they would just never listen. It was so frustrating being their friend. But so they knew this one guy, and I met him, and I was like instantly attracted to him. So I was like, yeah, I want to be his friend. So we start hanging out, and we're like friends for like a year. And meanwhile, this guy, he has a girlfriend, so I don't do anything. Like, I have this crush on him, but I just, kind of keep it to myself. Like, I'm fine with just being friends with someone. I was always like impressed with him. He owned his own house. He would constantly like change our oil for us, and I was like, I'll pay you for it. And he would say, oh no, I just want to be like this manly guy kind of thing. He had a very can-do attitude, and I was attracted to that. But there was a lot of red flags I was ignoring. I was in my cool girl era, when you grow up like religious, you grow up like worshiping men and stuff. You tend to let things slide because you're kind of like groomed into it. So I was not on my decenter men era at that time. And I noticed that his circle of friends was questionable. And because he owned the house in the friend group, he would let the other friends there stay, pay rent kind of thing. Let's see, how old was I? Maybe like 20, 21 or something. And he was like 20. And this was kind of my first experience with like toxic masculinity. And I don't mean that in the ironic sense or the feminism sense. I'm serious when I say that this group of men I should have never, ever been around. They were terrible. It was always jarring because comparing my crush to his friend group was just like, they didn't seem to mesh, but somehow they were friends. They were just not on the same level as him, so I was confused why he hung around these people. But yeah, so this was my first introduction to like toxic male groups, and like, let me tell you, these guys were bizarre. They were constantly, making jokes about women, putting them down and whatnot. And in my cool girl era, I didn't know what to say to that, so I would just kind of laugh along with them. They were very sex starved. They were constantly like, oh, I need to, have sex with some girl and I don't care who it is kind of thing. And they would like dress up as women to make fun of them. And then they would like hump each other as a joke. And I would just be staring at this like so confused because like it seemed like my guy friend wasn't like that, but if he's around this like all the time, he probably just does it when I'm not there. So it was really weird. And so they would do the term now is kind of like homosocial. Like maybe they're into women, but also the things they do, it's kind of like, are you gay? And that's like fine, but it's confusing. They would tell stories about these horrible things they did to women. Like one of them, he wanted to slay as many like virgins as he can. I'm paraphrasing, not actually kill them or anything. You know what I mean? And one of them, he would go around to apartment buildings and he would ruin all of the carpets for fun. He would just like gather up all these gross materials and ruin things. So like this guy was friends with like the scum of the earth. They would take
crazy.
videos
That's
of
what he is.
Small animals and like shoot them up and stuff. And like my guy friend was trying to show me these videos and I didn't know how to react. I'm like, is this what guys do? Like I had never had that much experience around men before. So I was kind of seeing like a different side of them. And they kept telling this one story where they all like wanked off together and they on like a mattress, and they went to this girl that they hated, and they like threw the mattress on her, and like it was her birthday, and they were so proud of that. It's not like I knew all these things in the beginning. It just kind of like sprinkled here and there over the course of a year, being like somewhat friends with this guy and his group of friends. And there was stuff that bothered me, but because I was groomed to look up to men, I was groomed to see like men as my spiritual leaders. And to preface, these were all Mormon men. It was a group of all Mormon men, which I was supposed to date. Like, that's what my religion taught me to do. So I was taught that this was a safe environment, but it clearly wasn't. So I was always kind of uncomfortable, and I kept my distance from his male friends. Because my main girlfriend, she was the one that brought me into this. So whenever she would drive me to this guy's house, it's not like I had any like escape. I guess I could have like called an Uber or something, but yeah, nowadays I probably would. But like I said, I was in my cool girl era, and I didn't know I had to handle what was going on. I always found it very strange that they wanted women so bad, but they also hated women so bad. So
yeah, like
I guess
what is even
certain
going
straight
on?
men hate women, or maybe they're just on the down low. But I had zero experience with that. I was, like I said, Mormon men. I was taught, you worship the prophet, you worship God, Jesus, whatever. They're all men. There's no female gods. So you're kind of groomed into it. So this one day, this guy, this male friend I had, he had a whole circle of male friends, and I didn't know half of them. So this one day, this guy comes in. I don't know him. I'm just chilling on the couch, and this was the time where I had plantar fasciitis, and if just to speed through that, like my feet just really hurt, and I couldn't really walk for like 5 minutes.
I remember.
I would. It was just really painful.
That.
And when you're dealing with something like that, like your feet are like super sensitive. They're just super in pain. So this guy walks in. I don't know him. I'm just laying on the couch. My legs are up. I'm just chilling there, relaxing. He grabs my phone and he takes a picture of himself. No hi, no hello, no nice to meet ya. He grabs my phone, he takes a picture of himself, he hands it back to me, and he says, "Oh, you can use that if any guy comes up to you and says, like, do you have a boyfriend? You can say it's me." And I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, ew. But, I be polite because, dealing with men can be a little tricky. So I'm like, haha, funny. I'm just feeling awkward at this point. I wasn't really good at meeting new people back then. But we start kind of talking. I'm like, hey, give me my phone back. I don't know if that counts as talking. And more people come in. I don't know if they were having like a friend meetup or something, but there ended up being like 10, 15 people in there. And most of them I did not know. And then this guy, I don't know, he just stole my phone, took a photo of himself. He grabs my feet, and I'm like, hey, don't touch my feet, please. And he's like, oh, why? Like, be cool. Like, why can't I do that? And I'm like, well, because I have this, like, condition, and they really hurt, and they're injured, so please don't touch me. I'm like, did I need to say all that? No. And honestly, it's almost better to not say stuff like that, because it was like a signal went off in his brain, because he's like, oh, they hurt so bad, huh? And I'm like, yes. So this man, he clamps his hand down on my feet, and I start bawling. I had to stop recording for a second. I started tearing up. I didn't expect that. So he clamps down on my foot. I start crying, and his face, he's just staring at me like with these creepy dark eyes, and he's like grinning at me while I'm crying. And everyone in the room like goes silent.
Call the police.
I was in my cool girl era.
Call the
I'm
police
thinking to
on this
myself,
man.
Like, am I just overreacting? Like, this guy is like touching me, and I told him not to, and this really hurts. Like, but everyone's quiet. Am I being too much? So then he stops clamping on my foot, and I just kind of quietly sobbed to myself because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. Poor little sugar. Poor little sugar. And like I said, the room is just quiet. They're all just kind of staring. And I think it's over, but it's not, because he goes back and he clamps on my foot again, harder this time. And so I'm like wailing and screaming, and like tears are running down my face. Everyone is just still, just watching me. Like there's something wrong with me, and whatever he's doing is like fine. And I'm just overreacting. And so this goes on for a while. I'm just like sobbing, and he's staring at me with a big old grin on his face. And eventually he lets go. And it was at that point where my male friend, he ran and, you know, grabbed like an ice pack or something for me. And I was baffled. I didn't know why. So after that, his wife comes in. Brother has a wife? Why is he touching other women? His wife comes in. Everyone acts like nothing just happened. Like, and even my girlfriend at the time, she didn't do jack or anything. She didn't say, hey, we should probably go. Nowadays, if something like that happened to me, I would leave immediately. I was relying on her giving me a ride. So that's why I was like, I don't know where to go. I feel trapped here. This guy's house was like a 40-minute drive too, so it wasn't like just down the block. But I kind of lost faith in groups, like these whole friend group things, especially groups of men. I kind of get the ick when I see packs of men. And I would say for a long time, my view on men really soured, and I just stopped dating and everything. It's like weird seeing men so
I mean, I would
desperate for
definitely
female
understand
validation,
that.
female attention, but then also they're dressing up like them, and they're humping each other, and they're making jokes, about grape and stuff. But yeah, the friendship with this male friend I had who was in charge of that group, like, it didn't last for different reasons. He couldn't apologize for certain things, but I make this video to say, like, be careful who you surround yourself with. If you're getting anxious around people, which I was, but I was ignoring because I'm like, I need a friend group, right? No, sometimes having one friend is plenty, let me tell you. And I'm really careful about the kinds of men that are around me. I don't typically like to have male friends, and especially not a pack of males, because I just feel like that's trouble. I don't know. But yeah, if you're a girl, like, don't just trust anyone, especially your girlfriends that lead you into places like this. And, just stay safe. The bystander effect is real. I'm not that type of person. Like, if I see someone that needs help, I jump in. But a lot of people, they just stand there, and it's frustrating. So, yeah. Stay safe.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear this. I hope you're in a better place now from that. So, oh shoot, I didn't record this entire reaction. Oh no. See, it's been a long time. Oh no. That's not enough. I did not even go to share my screen with you guys. That's so, like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I'll figure something out. But anyways, yeah. From what you heard in the audio, yeah. That is so painful to experience, and I'm so sorry you had to deal with that, Sugar. I hope you're in a better place now, like I said before, and yeah, that man, it was just kind of, was just harassing her, like, that okay to say on YouTube? I think is that fine to say on YouTube? Maybe, I'm not sure. But still, it's like the other kind of harassing her, and I was like, somebody called the police on this man, like what are you doing? Hey, like, can you not, like, don't you have something better to do with your life? Like, why do people do this? They just, it's so strange how people just do these kinds of things, these horrible things, and just think that it's fine, it's all good and dandy. No! No! When we ask you to stop it, we ask you to stop it, okay? No questions asked. Good God. But yeah. And to anyone else that experienced something like this, I am so sorry you had to go through something like this. Hoping that you're all in a better place. And if you ever experience something like this, I hope you're in a better place from that now. Because no one should have to go through something like this. It's terrible. Like, right? It's just... And like I said, people who do that kind of stuff are just wasting their time when they could be doing, like, be an actual decent human being for once. Especially in today's world, right? So, yeah. But let me know if you want to. If you've tell me your story of what you've experienced. If you experienced something like that, and in the chat, and tell me how you got out of it. That is if you want to. No pressure. Let me just go ahead and check the chat to see if anybody else. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you so much for watching and discuss thank you for actually just watching and watching these reactions with me. I hope you guys enjoyed them. And what else? Patreon video announcements. Patreon videos, still be on the lookout for those. I'm still working on them, as I understand you guys don't want me to rush on them, but yet it feels like I'm rushing on them. So because I want to put them out there, but I'm trying to get them done as soon as I possibly can. So please be patient with that. Yeah, make sure to follow all my socials right over here that you see on the screen, and in the description box. And what else? Oh yeah, one more thing. I did mention in the short that reaction requests will no longer be allowed in the chat. I'm sorry that is the case now. It's just a preference for me to keep track of all reaction requests that come in, and so that way it's like more organized, I guess. And I understand that, like, it's organized by date of what people want to react to for the next live reactions. So thankfully our fellow YouTubers have come through with some things to react to, but it might not always be this way. So please suggest something in the Discord, okay? You just go to my Discord server, search up the B React. I'll put the link. I put the link in the description of that short, and and then first you have to read the rules and then thumbs up everything, and then go to reaction suggestions, and then type in #reaction along with the link of the video that you want me to react to as well. And I'll respond with basically saying, yes, I've reacted to it, or no, I haven't reacted to it yet. I'll react to this in a live reactions as soon as I possibly can. So yeah, anything else? Follow my personal socials as well. And I think that's it. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll go ahead, unless there's any last minute things anybody wants to say in the chat, because of course that always happens here. In the chat right now, you could, otherwise I'll go ahead and say goodbye to each one of you. No? Alright. Okay. Alright, YouTube, I will see you in the next in the next group of live reactions, and which will be on Friday, May 9th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because of course I have to be out. Alright, see ya YouTube, bye!